So while yeah, Veiko is seeking the right presentation, actually the background, my professional background is pretty much the reason I'm dealing with such a project we are going to talk about, and the reason I really like things like the project in question. So during the lunchtime, we really had a very good conversation over the challenges, global challenges, and solution to that. And I would say that we came to the conclusion that at least one of the solutions to meet the challenges we have globally is having a new type of business models. And I really do hope that this presentation would give an would is a good example of this um, approach. So thanks, Veiko. Um, well, my presentation is about coupling sectors, which we understand, we consider, as I said already, as a key for success in the modern society, modern economy. But this is also a presentation about new horizons of geotechnics. Geotechnics, which we consider is really one key aspect for developing or surrounding to create new businesses. And gives a bit insight regarding that. Um, but the presentation is also about a bit an energy sector. This is about energy storage. So this is about energy storage concept, pumped hydro energy storage concept, and the project concept Zero to Rain, and its first demo project, Estonian Energiasaal project, 500 megawatt of storage capacity, 6,000 gigawatt, 6 gigawatt hours, sorry, storage capacity at rate 500 megawatts. So first of all, those who are not from the energy sector, this energy storage is need to keep the energy sector and energy system balanced. The more you have the intermittent power in the system, the more you would need uh, balancing services, and storage is a great mean to balance the system. The most common energy storage mean is worldwide is pumped hydro. So roughly 95% of the global storage capacity is of pumped hydro. But the pumped hydro has really big restrictions, because in order to have um, um, the pumped hydro, you have to have um, really big height differences in altitudes, just to gain energy from potential energy of those two different water levels. So the bigger the height difference is, the better efficiency for the project. Um, but in Estonia is a flat country. We don't have any mountains. We do not have any big rivers, neither. So basically, uh, we in order to have this pumped hydro, we really had to create this high difference in artificial way. And we did it so by creating the lower reservoirs in the crystalline body, as crust in the crystalline bedrock, at a depth of 600 meters below the sea level, um, uh, in the Earth's crust. So, and having roughly in amount of 4.5 million bank cubic meters. And serving as a sea, the Baltic Sea, in our case, as an upper reservoir. So the working principle of pumped hydro is simple as that. You generate you generate power by letting the water from upper reservoir to the lower reservoirs, and it really happens um, uh, when there is shortage of intermittent power, wind and sun in the system, and thus the power price is high. And vice versa, when there is a surplus of intermittent power in the system, you pump it back to the sea. Simple as that. So as it was said, we shall create this artificial height difference, which is roughly two Eiffel Towers at the depths of 600 meters. The deepest point here in the Paldiski or Estonian case would be roughly 730 meters. That's depths of um, turbine hole. Um, Everybody in the energy sector know about energy trilemma. It's about keeping the power system balanced, so thus meaning increasing the energy security, um, keeping the power prices affordable, which is really important nowadays with high prices, and definitely diminishing the environmental footprint. And what's important here is that usually the energy projects tend to shortcut somewhere, either in energy security, affordability, or environmental footprint. We do not compromise here on energy trilemma. We provide balance to the system, thus increasing the energy security, reducing the energy bills remarkably, and also we have very low environmental footprint and life cycle based CO2 emission as well. The solution itself, um, I mean, as a pump hydro, is really old. That's more than 100 years, and that's it's the same kind of system technology is used in our case. So the technology is robust and mature. All the details basically are off the shelf. As that actually helps us maintaining the lowest levelized cost of storage possible. I would say the zero terrain concept, the biggest thing for the world is to bringing the most competitive storage technology to the flatlands. You do not need um, mountains. You shall have suitable geology, of course, and some other factors, but still you can have it on flatland. So compared to the conventional pumped hydro, it really this concept eliminates some disadvantages such as land use change, disadvantages of conventional pumped hydro such as land use change, impact on water quality and fish stocks. It's um, it's another really important feature of this kind of approach is its modular design. So you can expand the storage capacity at a really low cost by excavating more underground caverns in parallel while operating the plant. That's not possible in any other storage case. I talked about the low life cycle CO2 emission. That's not only a slogan, it's really hard cash because the project before is forecasted to abate some 12 million tons of CO2 during its first 20 years of exploitation, meaning that state will benefit roughly over billion euros of CO2 quota. So that's not just a nice thing to have. Um, well, it is. The Earth-terrain concept itself is deployable in different parts of the world globally. Just mentioning some of them here: Baltic Nordics, Canada, Saudi Arabia, and not limiting them here. I would say, as I mentioned in the beginning, the sector coupling is really a key. In Estonia project case, we coupled mining and the energy sector and storage. But when you imagine zero terrain globally, you definitely must think about different couplings. Like the easiest one definitely would be coupling the pumped hydro with some other storage means like gas storage, even hydrogen storage. Hydrogen storage? Why not? Definitely one thing what we are exploring in case of Estonia project as well. It's a thermal storage for long-term storage mean some other features as well. But we just recently make a proposal to Qatar, meaning uh, area with lack of fresh water and with really high salinity of the seawater. And while considering places like that, you definitely shall consider also the water supply as one of your revenue streams. Simply because you have to have this desalination plant in place to run this pumped hydro business at all. Or underground farming, and especially aquaculture. Just imagine some African country. You have uh, you have controlled climate. Um, I mean this temperature and moisture. Um, you have actually a quite limited need of water and energy per cultivated crop or protein or whatsoever. It's really something worth of using when considering the zero terrain alternatives worldwide. Or perhaps quite important nowadays, civil protection shelter. This picture is for instance, from Finland. So this is about the project and its potential applications. We started the project already more than 12 years ago. We started it as a mining project. Actually, the idea behind of this pumped hydro was initially created the 80s of last century. And the initial idea was having deep granite mine. We started it as a pumped hydro project in 2009 in a different location than we are today. And we hope really finally permitted the project in a couple of months from now and reach financial close, make this final investment decision by end of this year or a first quarter next year, thus reaching our initial goal to have the plant commissioned in the late 2029. Just to remember or bear from this slide is that's not initially the pumped hydro project. It was initially initiated as a mining project. So we have quite a long history. We started in one location. We changed to another, from Maardu to Paldiski. Estonians know where the places are. One is eastern, just just a few few kilometers towards east, and the second is 50 kilometers to west from Tallinn. And there are actually three main reasons we made this um, change in location. Two of them are objective, and one, which is really important considering today's topic, is not so objective. It's really regarding subjective things. So first of geology, we decided to move from granites in Mardu to high quality gneisses in Paldiski. That's really obvious reason. The second reason we didn't realize in the beginning when we started the project was important importance of water depths and impact on fishes, on fish stocks. And actually, this was the second reason we really considered seriously, started considering the change. And definitely, we are much better conditions for water intake and in Paldiski and less impact on fish stock in Paldiski as well. But I would say the most important reason we changed the location is a public perception. From one location having built absolutely nothing anywhere near anything, it's a banana effect, or not in my backyard, NIMBY effect, not in my neighbor's backyard either, concept we had in the first place, and versus totally different approach in the second location, and it was let's discuss openly the challenges, risks, opportunities the project has and the community can benefit. So basically, we have the same idea, but absolutely two different experiences with social licensing. In the previous location in 2000 from 2009 to and 8 to 2015, uh, we really had shifting the mining project to energy project. It really challenged us, and our I would say the project description defining the project was vague toward the local people, and that's actually quite important reason why we were unsuccessful in the first location. And that's actually resulted in local people opposition, constant justification why defining reasons, etc., and constant change of views. May have settled one thing, but it came up in a different manner next week, so it was really impossible. And since 2015, uh, we really started with defining the project. That sounds strange, but it's really important. You must define the project and what it is, for what it is. You must really discuss very open manner in very open manner challenges, opportunities, addressing, defining the risks, and talking to people. Really talking to people. You never can do it too much. You must talk to people. Um, so I would say lessons learned. That's perhaps not the right wording here because the project itself is not finished yet. It's just in the middle of the road. Um, m- um, just as it was discussed, we're just hoping start the construction activities next year. But still, some lessons learned. The most important one is really define the project. Conflicting messages can destroy your project, and it did in our case. New business models. And sector coupling is a must thing. It was discussed a couple of times already during this presentation, and as I said in the lunchtime around the lunch table as well. That's really something we have to bear in our mind. We cannot solve the challenges we have ahead in our society just in old manner. There is no way of doing that. No way at all. Define the local benefits. Define how you save the planet, how you actually your project, your contribution will change the world. It's really important. It really matters, people, especially young people. Discuss openly the challenges, risk, and use only the best consultants. They really can help you. Don't shortcut here because otherwise you lose your confidence and confidence in you as well. And now legislation. It's really difficult. It's really difficult when the legislation doesn't support you. When you're doing something innovative, perhaps, but there is not certain support from the legislation side. And we have faced this all along the course. We are really struggling it and hopefully reaching the permitting, as it was said, in a month or two. But yeah, this is really when starting a next project somewhere else, I would start really exploring the legislation in place in this area because it really can support you or fight against it. So still, let's say, despite the fact that we have struggled so-called 12 years already just in permitting, I'm really optimistic. We have learned so much during this process. So I really think that we can change the world, and why not? Let's make sustainable mining also feasible. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you.